Hello, everybody. Information was sent to K-5 teachers on Saturday about several glitches that we have encountered with the new Power Teacher Pro gradebook. As a result, we need to take care of those issues before grade cards are issued to students and shared at conferences in the near future. The information that you're seeing on the screen is the actual Google Doc that was shared with you. It's entitled Read Me Before Grade Prep Time, Power Teacher Pro Updates. I will be reading through this information today as I also am logged into PowerSchool and will help you navigate through some of these step-by-step directions to make sure that issues are fixed in a timely manner. Do know that if you have any questions or need additional support next week on Monday, I will be available to assist. I have some times noted on the day's schedule for when I can meet with you and work with you if you need additional support. If this video and the step-by-step directions are enough, then that will work out as well. All right, let's get started. Just some background information. Due to a couple of glitches in Power Teacher Pro, there are two things that are going to have to happen here, and this is the information that I will be covering in the video. First, that a default setting will need to be selected by teachers, so in the future when new assignments are created, that you have selected a standard and one attached to the overall standards performance score will be taken care of. Until that happens, we'll continue to have the same issues as you're having now, possibly. The second thing, our bulleted item, is just that some teachers will also have to make revisions to their existing assignments if they did not check the auto calculate assignment grades box when initially creating an assignment that they wanted to include in the overall standards-based rating for Q1. Again, we're going to read through this information and hopefully be able to help some of you get through it and understand what needs to be done. All right, for the first glitch and some information about it so you're aware of what's going on. Back in August when Ryan Stoops set up the PowerSchool Pro for the district, he selected a default for all 4 schools. This particular default setting would or should automatically auto-calculate all assignments that teachers connected to a standard into that overall standard rating for the quarter. For whatever reason, this setting did not hold. In turn, teachers were required to check a box if they wanted an assignment to auto-calculate. If they didn't check that box, the score won't calculate into the overall standard rating score. So a resolution for the future when you are creating assignments to take care of this issue, and everyone needs to complete this task, is to log into the gradebook. So let's go ahead and do that now. I'll give you a minute to do so, and I will log in as well. So the first thing that you're going to do is log into Power Teacher Pro, and I'm already in there. And down here on the left, you'll see a Settings tab, which you will need to select. Up here then, select Display Settings. You will scroll down under Standards Usage. There you will see Auto-Calculate Assignment Standard Scores, Initial State. What you need to do here, it is currently defaulted at New Assignment Start Unchecked, and you need to change that to New Assignment Start Checked. By doing so, in the future, any new assignment that you create in the traditional grade card area and then link it to a particular standard will automatically calculate into that overall performance rating for that particular standard, and will appear obviously as a 1, 2, 3 rating at the end of the quarter, or even during the quarter it'll show up in the standards-based rating section of the grade card. Then this is kind of a side note. I just happened to scroll down when I was looking through here and came across the section student names. I know many of you had asked to be able to have new students appear at the bottom of your roster because it messes with the numbers that you have assigned to your current students by throwing a new student into the middle. So if you would like to do that, we'll just do that at this time and change that setting. You're under student names, and you will go right here and click on add newly enrolled students to the bottom. And then down here in the bottom corner, you will save. Now, if you don't want to do that, you don't have to. Just skip that, leave that unchecked, but still don't forget to save down here in the right-hand corner. All right. Now, by doing that, anytime in the future from this point on, you should be taking care of new assignments again that are created and then connected to a standard will automatically calculate into that overall standards rating. All right. Now we're going to go on to the second glitch, which is a bigger issue. Takes a little bit more time to resolve. Last week, some information came out in an email from me about going in and editing those assignments that you had already created where you did not check that auto calculate box. We were under the impression that by doing so, this would update and would those assignments, once checked, auto calculate would be included in that average and would populate. Well, that's not the case, unfortunately. So there are two ways to fix this problem. So your standards ratings, your 1, 2, 3 ratings for existing assignments that you want to be included this way will be calculated into that overall standard rating for the quarter. All right, so you have two options. We're going to do the first one, and then we'll move down and do the second one. For those of you that do not have a print grade book that you record all of your student grades and assignments in during the school year, it would be advantageous to go ahead and print a report from Power Teacher Pro, and step-by-step directions are provided there. I'm going to do this very quickly, but I want to make sure that you know how to do so if necessary, so you can reference grades that have been taken during the quarter, as those will be needed. All right, going over here to reports, you're going to select that, click on the multifunction assignment report, let that load. Then you will go here to classes, and what you'll want to pick here, and this is a sample login, no one in our district, so it looks a bit different, but you will select language, math, science, and social studies courses. You will want those scores to appear. If you have a homework, it'll check default to the homeroom. You can actually uncheck that at this time, and then down below pick language, math, science, and social studies, or of those 4 courses that you teach. Continue to scroll down. Get these out of the way real quick. Under data, make sure, I'm pretty certain that default percentages is checked. You'll want to have that information. Also, down here under categories, select all of the different categories of the types of assignments that you use when that are related to the standards-based scores. I guess what I'm saying here is Some of you maybe have 1 or 2 categories that you check, and you know that those are the types of assignments that you're going to select a standard for and then include in that overall rating. You may have a few things that are listed under categories that aren't applicable, so you don't need to check those. You know what those are. I don't, so pick what is appropriate and then check off. And then down in the bottom corner, you'll be able to run the report. So run the report, and once that becomes available, it will either populate in your bottom left-hand corner or up here in the top right-hand corner. It varies. Sometimes I get it up here, and then earlier today it came down here to the bottom. So you can open it at that point in time. You can save it. You can just print it if you want to, whatever is your preference. What'll be listed on that report is a list of each of the assignments with the student's name and their current grades for each assignment that is in the report. This will be helpful when you move to step 2 here and you're required to delete some assignment scores and then add them back in. It'll just make that task much easier. All right, on to step 2. On your Google Doc, you'll see step 2, edit existing assignments, with a bright yellow highlighting underneath it that states only complete step 2 for the existing assignments you want to include in the overall standards-based rating in quarter 1. In a nutshell, what that means is you do not have to do this for every single assignment that you have entered in your traditional grade card. Just those that you know should be connected or included in that overall standard performance rating for the quarter. Ignore all of the rest of the assignments. You don't need to do any or make any changes for those. All right, here we go. This is a little bit time invasive or intensive, I guess that's a better word. So hang in there as we go through this, and remember, this is just one of the options. You'll have an option 2 as well. All right, so you have your gradebook open, and you'll want to, up at the top, start with one of the classes. Again, you'll have all 4. You'll have language, math, science, and social studies. In most cases, some of you may not teach both science and social studies or even math, just depending on what you're assigned to for your grade level. Click on the A+ grading tab to the left. Select the score sheet. Now, these scores obviously look different and are not identical to what our grade book might look like, but to make sure that I was not putting our students' information up on a screen that everybody could see, it was necessary for me to use a fake login through their labs. So the next thing that you're going to do here is locate an assignment that you know you wanted to include or want to include in your standards-based rating for the quarter for a standard. And I'm just going to pretend like this is one of them. So you would pick the title of the assignment, let it load. Over here in the right-hand corner, select Edit Assignment. And up here at the top, select the Standards tab. Now, this gentleman's gradebook has already got this automatically checked, but what you're going to see in many cases is the box empty, and you'll want to select Auto Calculate Assignment Standard Scores, and then Save. Then you can X out. Then you'll go back to that particular assignment, and you will I'm going to pretend like this is it. I can't remember what the title was, but you're going to go down here and you will delete the current assignments that are in the boxes and then re-enter them. Again, this is where your print gradebook that you have access to, where you fill in all of your students' assignments. and scores, or you can reference that printed or report that we just ran a few minutes ago to get that data so you don't lose it. This will save you some time. So again, you go back, you pick the assignment, you delete the current scores, and then you have to re-enter them and then save. I'm not going to obviously do that, but you would delete the assignments out, re-enter them, and click save. Then you would just repeat that for each assignment that you wanted to be a part of that standards score for a particular subject and standard that is taught. All right, on to option 2. The first step, again, is just a repeat of what I went through up above on printing a report, or actually I should probably call it run a report, and then you have the option to print it. But you're going to open your gradebook again. You're already in there, so go to the, actually we're going to move on to step 2, I'm sorry. Select a class from the top. Then you're going to select the A+ grading tab in the top left-hand corner. Go down to the grade section and select standards. This looks all too familiar, I'm sure, for many of you. This is where you can manually enter or revise standards grades. Ignore the pluses here, we don't have those, but this is where you would start with a particular standard, maybe working from left to right. Ours, again, looks different than this. But you would enter a 1, 2, 3 rating for each of your students based off of their performance that quarter on maybe 2 or 3 assignments, or even maybe just one assignment that targeted that particular standard. Of course, you can use your little toolbox over here, can't remember the name of it, to quickly load 3s all at one time, or go back in and edit one out and change it to a 2. You all are familiar with this and know how to use this much better and more efficiently than I do. Again, that's really it here for option 2. You would just need to look back at your assignments from the quarter, start with a standard. Maybe you had 1 or 2 assignments that you know in your grade book or in the reports that were tied to that. Look over the scores for the students and make it a determination if they should be getting a 1, a 2, or a 3 rating. For each one, again, just make sure that you enter it and don't forget to save when you're all done, otherwise you will lose that information. All right, that's it. Again, apologize for the glitches. We know when we switch over to something new, there always seems to be an initial issue or problem that has to be resolved. This is what we are dealing with for quarter 1. Hopefully quarter 2, 3, and 4, we don't have any problems, and PowerSchool works with the districts to make sure that some of those clunky issues are resolved for the rest of the school year. If you look at your October 17th schedule, you will see that, let me pull it up here real quick, right here. I added into the schedule when I would be available to provide teachers with support on Monday, because that may be necessary. I will make sure to talk to the K-2 teachers for the first 10 minutes before Jason starts our SAMR training. Then you can see down below from 8:15 to 8:45, I will be available in the district office conference room to work with 3 through 5 teachers, and then music and computer. From 11:10 to 11:50, I will just be available over lunch if anybody wants to stay or needs help at that time. It's not required, but it is an option. And then after school or after PD day from 3:20 to 5, I will also stay in the conference room and be available to anybody that needs it. Then, of course, you have my cell phone number, and you're more than welcome to call me anytime this weekend, on Monday, And then next week, I will be out of the district for district director AVID training, but I'm always available via email, or you can call my cell phone and I will get back to you as soon as I can if I don't answer the phone or respond to my text immediately. I just want to make sure that when it's time to print those reports off and share them out at conferences, the information is accurate, and that's going to take a little bit of work on your end to get it to where it needs to be to make that a possibility. So I appreciate everything you do. And again, if you need any support, I'm available and here for you, and hopefully can answer all of your questions and help you complete tasks if necessary. Thanks a bunch.